What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm here to talk about another thing today. Miguel Cotto. We all know he's fighting Yuri Foreman in June, early June, and he's looking for a new trainer at the moment. And there's a lot of speculation that Buddy Mcgirt, Buddy Mcgirt, could possibly be Miguel Cotto's next trainer. And I'm here just to give my thoughts on that. Honestly, if I look at Buddy Mcgirt, and I look at his history with fighters. For some reason, I see with Buddy Mcgirt is that it seems like he gets offended, when the fighter doesn't listen to him, and sometimes he just throws in the towel, for whatever reason. He is, because one, he does care about his fighter, and two, it always seemed that he had kind of a ego along with it. Maybe it's just me, but for a fighter like Miguel Cotto, Buddy Mcgirt is not a good fit, because Miguel Cotto is a warrior. Just like another fighter who fought under Buddy Mcgirt, Arturo Gatti. He had fights where he got hurt. Like the Mayweather fight, he threw in the towel. For a warrior like Miguel Cotto, I just personally don't think that's a good fit. But at the same time, it's better than what he has now. Joe Santiago, as evident in the last two fights, kind of does not know what he's doing. In the corner, really you can't have. It's like this. In boxing, in sport where you're putting your life on the line, you can't have your best friend, in the corner. You can't have friends in your corner. You have to have somebody that's totally not your friend. Say the least, somebody who's going to be in command in that corner. With Buddy Mcgirt, I think that Buddy Mcgirt does do a good job of being in command. But at the same time, say Miguel Cotto gets in trouble in one of his, he said he's going to fight 2 more fights. Say the fight after Foreman, because he's not going to get hurt against Foreman. I don't think he shouldn't get hurt in that fight, because Foreman, 8 KOs in like 28 fights. I don't think he's going to be hurt by Foreman. But say he fights Antonio Margarito again, and he fights Margarito, and Margarito is beating him up pretty bad, but he's still standing up to the shots. We all know Buddy Mcgirt's history of throwing in the towel. He's done it a bit in fights. Rockman versus Klitschko, Gatti versus Mayweather. Fights like that, he has thrown in the towel. I think and there's another fight but I can't think of it at the top of my head when he just threw in the towel. With Buddy Mcgirt, you're gonna get a trainer that cares about the fighter, but at the same time, he's the man in control in the corner. But is this what Miguel Cotto really wants? Does he want somebody that's gonna stop the fight? If he's getting beaten up real bad, but at the same time he still has a chance. Against Joshua, I'll name 3 fights. Miguel Cotto, Miguel Cotto probably a little lost with Mcgirt in his corner. One fight being against Margarito. I think when Cotto broke his nose and stuff, I think the fight would have ended a lot earlier before it got down to the 11th round when Cotto just went down. And then the fight against Joshua Clottey, I think that would have ended much earlier, with Mcgirt in the corner. And then Pacquiao, we all know that what happened with that fight. Pacquiao was unloading on Cotto in the later rounds. He didn't even want to hurt Cotto. He kind of started to back up, and he stopped loading up on Cotto. And in these 3 fights, would have, and 2 of these were actual losses of Cotto, and one wasn't a loss. One was a split decision. But I think that in all 3 of those matchups with Buddy Mcgirt, I think that they would have been different matchups. Not in terms of. I think that if he had Mcgirt in the corner, it would have been a different fight with Pacquiao. But I do think that if it would have ended up in that same result, of him being being just a human punching bag, McGirt was just threw in the towel, and the fight would have been over. The fight would have been stopped. So it's like, so you have to question: does Miguel Cotto really want this? Does he really want, McGirt in his corner? A trainer who's not gonna let him, in an absolute brawl. A fighter who's gonna throw in the towel, when he feels it's necessary. Does a warrior like Miguel Cotto want that? Me, I do. I like the decision to get a Buddy Mcgirt type trainer. What can Buddy Mcgirt do? I think that Mcgirt could break some stuff down for Cotto. He could actually give Miguel Cotto advice. He could actually give him advice to win the fight compared to Joe Santiago. Other than giving him advice to win the fight, he like I said, he's a trainer that cares about his fighters. So and I'm not saying that Joe Santiago didn't care or whatever. He just wasn't fit to be a trainer for Miguel Cotto. I think that having a former boxer, former champion in the corner, somebody who knows what it feels like to be there, in that position, I think that McGirt is somewhat of a good fit. But at the same time, I would like to see somebody else in the corner. I would definitely love to see Manny Stewart in Miguel Cotto's corner. Manny Stewart, you can even put Nacho Beristain, in the corner. One of those guys, highly acclaimed trainer. McGirt is a good trainer. I think he could, like I said, I think he could help Cotto a bit. Help his defense. And help him with his boxing ability. I think he would have. I think the fight with Pat could have been closer with McGirt in the corner, but it would have been closer, but it would have ended a lot earlier, a lot sooner than it did. But anyway, I'm kind of doing the devil's advocate thing, like I like to do, and trying to weigh in both sides of how I feel about McGirt possibly. I'm not confirming, but possibly being in Miguel Cotto's corner for his next fight against Yuri Foreman in June. But anyway, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.